Hey, good morning. We're in Reno, Nevada. This here is Sierra Street. That's the Montage. Here's the Retrack Underground Railroad right here. Railroad used to come right across on surface level a long time ago, 1868. This here is 3rd Street. And in the old days, 3rd Street wasn't really here. It was really called Plaza. It was set back more. And this here is our Eldorado. Ripped out a whole bunch of cool buildings. And kind of offset a little back. That was the old McKissick Opera House. Anyway, torn down. We had the cool buildings right here I'll tell you about. To give you a vantage point, here's our 1930s view looking north. We can clearly see the 5-story McKissick Hotel, some lower hotels on the right. This would become our Eldorado almost 50 years later. And to really understand this corner, we need to head back about 150 years, back to our first structure here in 1870. Instead of McKissick's, we have a 2-story wooden structure, home to J.R. McFarland's wagons, carriages, etc. And in front is Murray Dunham's photographer. Alan Murray Dunham, he was born in 1834 in New York, made his way to California after the gold rush, then out to Reno, and back to California where he died in 1924 in the Union City of Dakota, sort of by today's Oakland. Next, to the right, was Blakely News Dealers. Next door, I believe this is the first Evening Gazette, before it moved down to Virginia Street and later merged with the Nevada State Journal on 2nd Street. On the ground floor was A.J. Clark's low-price groceries, providing the best cough medicine for the worst case of Queensware. A.J. Clark later became the owner of the 1913 Basque Santa Fe Hotel down on Lake Street. Finally, on the right is A.B. Barnes Hotel. Not much is known about this cute 2-story structure, ornate frontage facade, balcony overlooking the plaza, gabled window frames, rounded roof parapet, and later it became the home of the State Theater. And fast forward almost 50 years, our layout here looks pretty much the same. On the left, this is a McKissick Hotel, opened in 1887 as McKissick Opera House, built by Jacob McKissick, rancher and successful businessman from California. He partnered with the businessman C.W. Boughton for the project. The Opera House became the tallest building in all of Reno, and no expense was spared in the building of this $30,000 Temple of Thespis, Reno's crowning glory, as extolled by the Reno Evening Gazette, June 12, 1888. The interior featured thick red carpet, plush upholstered seats, the seat backs bearing the monogram J. McKay, along with natural pine and redwood facing the balcony boxes. McKissick's opening performance was Ramona, a story about early California, presented by the local troupe known as the Irving Dramatic Club. And the star of the show was none other than Lillian Boutin, the partner's daughter, who went on to a successful career, married a count, and moved out to Paris, France. Later in 1888, the McKissick was leased by John Piper. The German saloon keeper who had become the richest man in all of Virginia City, owner of the popular 1878 Piper's Opera House, well known throughout Nevada as a theatrical manager. This whole section north of Commercial Row soon became the cultural center of town. In January of 1891, the local paper announced the extraordinary engagement of Miss Fanny Louise Buckingham and her gallant gray horse James Melville in a dramatization of Lord Byron's poem Mazeppa. In June, it hosted the first ceremony for the new graduates from the University of Nevada, Reno. When McKissick died in 1900, the Opera House was inherited by his daughter-in-law, Lulu Black, Mrs. Howard B. McKissick. In 1906, contractors remodeled the Opera House, adding 2 large exits and a grand stairway to allow for improved emergency exit conditions. The very next week, the Gus Sun Minstrels performed on stage, theatrical vaudeville group touring all the way from Ohio. By 1908, it was decided the stage had become insufficient for the growing complex productions appearing in Reno. So Lulu renovated the Opera House into the McKissick Hotel we know now, complete with an elevator and a rooftop beer garden. It became known as a posh place, and it equals with the best socialite establishments out in Virginia City. Here we are in 1915, looking at the same corner of Sierra Street and Plaza. Left to right, we have the 5-story McKissick Hotel, with the streetcar running north-south along Sierra Street, crossing over Plaza. To the right of McKissick is the Colonial Hotel Espagnol, 2-story, smooth stucco, soft rounded arch, colonial-style window frames and doors. Then the Union Hotel, 2-story rectangular patterns, and on the far right is the Olding House Hotel, 3-story, ornate rooftop parapet. And with most of our buildings, the upper levels were reserved for guest rooms, while the bottom levels housed local shops, diners, and bars. Here's a great view of Commercial Street from the rooftop beer garden around 1930. In the center is Virginia Street, and overhanging is the original Reno Arch. By 1975, we had a whole different look. Just before the buildings were demolished for the Eldorado expansion out from Virginia to Sierra Street. Our McKissick looks a lot the same, but now it's known as the Plaza Hotel, with a much cleaner look. Our hotels on the right have been merged into one, with the pre-demolition sale going at the ground floor of the retail shop. Behind is the 1973 Eldorado Tower, and that marks the end of our 150-year history of this historic corner of town, and the start of the new row hotels and casinos out here at Sierra and Virginia Streets. Well, there you go. These things aren't here anymore in Old Reno. Thanks for watching. Bye.